Yeah, how's it going, Grinders? Serpico here with a requested lineup review for the 22nd of December. Today's the 23rd. The Clipper game just got over about 45 minutes ago. Very good game. San Antonio almost pulled it off in the fourth, but Clippers held on without Blake Griffin. So things starting to get a little wild out in the wild, wild west there. We'll have to see what happens. But regardless, 2 days before Christmas, everybody, happy Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you, I should say. Happy holidays. Hope you get to spend some time with your families over the holiday season and enjoy some great football this weekend. It's kind of the championship week, especially if you're in those weekly leagues, Yahoo and NBC, CBS, ESPN, NFL.com. I think it's your championship week if you're in one of those, so good luck to you. For us DFS players, this is kind of not the end of the season. But next week, it might be a little more lackluster because you'll start to see some of the teams that are in the playoffs resting their stars, don't want to risk injury, obviously, and maybe some of the teams that are just completely eliminated throw the towel in. So we'll have to kind of pay attention to that. I'm also really interested to see what Dallas is going to do this week. For those of you, that don't know, Philadelphia ended up beating New York tonight. So the Giants clinched first place throughout the playoffs in the NFC. Giants can still get in if they win next week. They also can get in this week if Green Bay loses, Detroit loses, Minnesota loses. I think one other team has to lose for them as well. But they can also get in next week if they win. So crazy, crazy, crazy NFL. But let's talk about the NBA tonight. We only had a 5-game slate. And I had a lot of requests to make one of these videos because people... Oh, did I get the hate about 30 minutes before lineup lock? About 5:30 Central Standard Time. NBA locks at 6 o'clock here. Usually. Sometimes it's at 7 o'clock, which I actually prefer. And I kind of tweeted out that I was hinting at fading Durant. And holy shitstorm, did my Twitter blow up. What do you mean you're fading Durant? How can you fade Durant? You know who the fuck he's playing against? I'm like, yeah, I know he's playing against Brooklyn. Yes, Brooklyn's terrible. Their defense is atrocious. Every position from point guard all the way to center, they rank in the bottom 5 in DVP. Yeah, they're just a horrible defensive team. Now, they got some guys coming back. They got Jeremy Lin coming back. They got Rodney Hollis-Jefferson, who you see on the bottom of my screen here, coming back as well. So we'll see what happens, but still just not a good defensive team. The contest that you're looking at, though, is a $109 entry 3-way winner-take-all 50-50s. So I ended up winning this one, as well as a couple other 50-50s. This was the most expensive one, and I think it took $60 in the $4 GPP. I did really good in the $4 entry. Well, over 300 points. You're doing pretty good. Oh man, if I wouldn't have started Reddick, I could have got a little bit more, but I'm not going to be greedy because it's a 5-game slate. A lot of different shit can happen, and I got lucky with one particular guy you'll see on the bottom of the screen here at Justice Winslow. So let's get into this. So I didn't explain why I wasn't going to roster Durant. I thought it would be somewhat clear. I thought it would be somewhat assumable that I just didn't want to pay the $9,000 for him. And obviously the pivot off of Kevin Durant would have been Kawhi Leonard for San Antonio, which I ultimately ended up doing. But the reason I was hesitant to get Durant was because that would have forced me to play Thomas Robinson from the Lakers. There wasn't a lot of value last night with the 5-game slate, and he was the chalk. I saw the projections on RotoGrinders. The ownership projections on him was like 40%, 30 minutes prior to lock. So, and I don't really care because I'm usually a cash game player anyway. So those ownership projections just don't really scare me. But sometimes you just don't know. And then the word came out that he wasn't even going to start. Brandon Ingram was going to start. Oh, I thought I had to sneeze. Sorry. For Julius Randle, their normal starter, who was celebrating. Excuse me. I knew it was coming. Jeez. But Julius Randle, anyway, for Los Angeles, was celebrating the birth of his child, along with Draymond Green for San Antonio, who was out tonight too. So kind of ironic, but not that they'll others see this video. But congratulations to both those gentlemen with the new additions to their family. So I just wasn't sure about Thomas Robinson. Yes, he was a stone cold minimum at 3,000. I get that, and it does open up a shit ton of other more money you can spend on better other players. But I've been burned so much by rostering that uncertain stone cold guy, and I told myself I'm not going to do it anymore. So now tonight would have been a good time to take that risk because he actually had a pretty good game. I don't think he played a lot of minutes, but he got like 12 rebounds and a couple points, so he still exceeded value if you played him. But I ended up I'm glad I took the approach I took because it made me about $350. So I'm pretty happy. But on this 5-game slate, remember, so we don't got a lot of options. The first game was Golden State and Brooklyn. No Draymond Green, so you were pretty much forced to either go with or just stack the whole fucking game, and go with obviously with with Steph, Durant, or Klay Thompson. I never get Klay Thompson right. I hear his name and I immediately think tournament, and I just usually move on right away because we saw it when he blew up and scored that 61-point game or whatever. He hasn't really done anything since. He hasn't done anything to make your mouth drop, I should say. So he's pretty much just a strict tournament player for me, as is Steph Curry. But Steph was so cheap. What did they knock him down to? Yeah, it was 8,100 for Steph Curry. I mean, I didn't play NBA DFS last year, but from what people were saying I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, that's a steal. Like last year, if you would have seen that, 100% ownership we're probably talking about. So. But it's a different team with Durant there, and they're just steamrolling everybody. So Golden State's getting hard to pick from because who is it going to be? Is it going to be a Durant night? And Durant had a great game too. Pretty much was right there with Kawhi. I think in terms of fantasy points, I'm sure Kevin got a little bit more. I think he had 29 points. He didn't get a double-double. I think they were about the same, but for the amount of money I saved, it worked out nice. Steph ended up attempting 13 threes, so he made 3 of them. That's a lot of three-pointers, so he was just chucking shots. I didn't watch the game, but from seeing the stats, anytime you shoot 13 threes, holy shit. You guys who subscribe to my premium content know what I think about this guy right away. Evan Fournier, man, just minutes galore. This guy just never comes off the goddamn court. 44 minutes against Miami 3 nights ago now. Oh, man, the guy's just solid now. He's one of those guys that very scoring dependent, as a lot of shooting guards are. You know, they don't get a lot of peripherals. But you don't see many shooting guards outside of Zach LaVine for Minnesota and Evan Fournier for Orlando getting on consistent basis is 34 to 40 minutes every single night. So I love that. As a cash game player, that's the kind of consistency you want to see. And then we have Kawhi. And Kawhi been kind of tricky this year. You know, started off the year just great, you know, and then kind of took a dip. Now, this is since end of November, and he has been just money. I mean, every night. Not sure what happened against New Orleans there. Maybe just rough game, but whatever. 7,800 for Kawhi Leonard. I guarantee you he will probably be... I don't know who they play next. Oh, I think they play Portland because they're on a 3-game road streak. They play Portland, and then they play Houston. And I can guarantee you, I wouldn't be surprised by the time they play Houston if he's at about 8,500. So you'll have to watch the price on Kawhi, but he will certainly get a bump in price after tonight's game. Great game for him. First half was unbelievable. He had a monstrous dunk. He had like 5 seconds on the shot clock. He gets it he's got it at the 3-point line and just drives straight to the basket and slams. I mean, it was unbelievable. The commentators were like, holy man. So Kawhi got it done. Thad Young been playing really well for the Pacers. Again, not one of those guys, not a cash game guy usually, but he's starting to turn into one, especially the last couple games. And I've been rolling with him. I started him against Washington because I think it was a home game. Yeah, it was a home game. And there wasn't a lot of other options at power forward that night. So I'm like, oh, shit, let's go with Thad. I'm going to ride that ship, man. He's doing really well. Jeff Teague, also the point guard. unbelievable. I mean, nobody expected Jeff Teague to be putting up these kind of numbers. I wish I could show you here. I don't think anybody else have them that I played against. I don't think so. I don't see it. Here's a Thomas Robinson, by the way, who was 3K. So, yeah, he had 12 rebounds, 8 points for Los Angeles. Kevin Durant had 56.25. So Kawhi had 50 and a quarter. Well, I'll sacrifice those 6 points and save almost $1,100. Very nice play there. Hassan Whiteside. Man, very interesting year for Hassan. And he's really turning into a GPP type center where now you look at these last few games and you're like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? But there was a stretch towards the end of November where nobody was even wanting to touch the guy because you didn't know what he was going to do. He fouled out in the third quarter one game, and the coach just let him ride. The coach just left him in the game, didn't even try to get him out of the game. I think he was trying to teach him a lesson. And he didn't get the lesson. He fouled out of sheer frustration. But he's back in it now. So I think moving forward, you're pretty safe with Hassan Whiteside. And people that were saying pivot off Hassan with Timothy Mozgov for Los Angeles at center. I don't think anybody that I played against was stupid enough to roster Mozgov at 3.2. Mozgov sucks. And I'm like, you really think he's going to stop Hassan Whiteside? You're not stopping this kid. I mean, he's 22. He's a fucking beast. So keep going with Hassan, guys. He's doing great work. JJ Redick, this was the call that I got wrong. And I even knew it too when I hit that button because I didn't like him. But at where he was the only. I burned through all my salary. I didn't have any dollars left over at all. There wasn't a lot of guards in that range that I liked. Now I really wanted to get Dragic, Whiteside, and Winslow. But that wasn't going to happen. I'd have to sacrifice probably Thad and bump down to nothing because power forward was disgusting tonight. I know STL Cards and Dean and some of the guys on Roto Grinders on the show prior to lock were just saying, for people playing on FanDuel, you pretty much put Thad Young and throw a dart at whoever else you want because there was no good power forward plays tonight. Kevin Durant lost his power forward eligibility on DraftKings. He's only shooting guard, as you'll see here. He's only shooting guard available now, which normally wouldn't be that big of a deal, but in a game, actually it is a big deal going forward because, if you got some games with Gordon Hayward or something for Utah, who you want to start at small forward, now you got to kind of pick and choose, where before you didn't. And I like that stack, but you got to go with what they give you. So Redick was a bad call. He's playing against Jeff Green, was guarding him for San Antonio, one of the best defenders in the league. I should have really thought harder. I thought, trust me, it's not like I didn't think about it, but there just wasn't anything there. And him coming off that 39-point performance where he made 7 3-pointers against Denver in only 26 minutes of work for almost 40 fantasy points is pretty remarkable. So I was kind of trying to ride those coattails. But JJ Redick is just he's a strict tournament. He's a strict GPP guy. You don't feel safe using him as cash, and this is a prime example as to why you don't. Now, even if he did have a good game, I would have said the same thing about him. He's a great shooter, but it's a tough matchup. Jeff Green's a great defender, so give him some credit as well. The other guy, too, is Rondae Hollis-Jefferson for Brooklyn. I did want some exposure here, and I didn't want to pay up for Trevor Booker. Thank God I didn't pay up for Trevor Booker. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't think anybody else had him either. He had a shit game. He had like 4 points. Not a lot of rebounds. I don't know what's going on with Trevor Booker. Normally a cash game guy for Brooklyn. I've rostered him a lot. A ton, and he's usually paid pretty strong dividends for me. But thank God I didn't roster him tonight, just not getting it done. But Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, and again, everybody kind of picks on Brooklyn here. But with Brook Lopez at center, he had a great game as well. He was a little expensive. He was at 68, I think, tonight's $100. just really wasn't going to fit with my lineup construction on this 5-game slate. But with Jeremy Lin coming back at point guard for Brooklyn, and then Rondae Hollis-Jefferson also coming back off that injury, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, I'm not going to say he's the future of this team, but he is certainly a building point for them where if he can start to get healthy and get some more production, again, he's on the bench right now, and I like him in that role. We've seen with Indiana and guys like Glenn Robinson III filling in for Monte Ellis, and everybody, of course, the first night. Just because a guy is going to be a starter doesn't mean he's going to perform well. There's a big difference between being a starter in the NBA and being a bench player. I mean, not saying these bench players aren't good players, because that would be an insane statement to make. But they're starters for a reason. And with Glenn Robinson, and I don't think the coaches entirely got that until a couple nights ago, where I don't think he's going to be starting anymore. He's just not. He's not at that level yet. Not saying he can't get there, but sometimes you want guys like Rondae Hollis-Jefferson to stay on the bench so he can compete against those second teamers or get the majority of his minutes with that second team, opposing the second team. Now you see interesting thing with Orlando this year too, in that they got Biyombo starting, but they got Vucevic, who's clearly a better. Right here, he did start Vucevic, who's clearly a more talented center, and he typically gets more minutes. Like, for example, this guy's not a starter, mind you. Biyombo is still the starter, but look, he got 40 minutes, so he's getting run with both the first and second team, which is very, very nice. And look at that, 40 minutes, he had almost 50 points at $6,200. That's a huge, huge, huge value. So tonight he didn't really get it done. He only had 26, so. Yeah, again, not a very good game for him, but not a bad call by this guy, TM Brew 21. Certainly not a bad call on Vucevic at all. You can't hate that. You can't hate that call against New York. Joakim Noah is a good defender. He really is. I don't understand why. Again, I don't know why this kid started him in fantasy, in DFS. He's not a good daily fantasy player. He's a good defender, in sports, just in general. I don't know how to like to describe it. He doesn't get a lot of rebounds. He's just a good defender. Kind of like Patrick Beverley, a little bit for Houston. But the main guy of the night that really blew my mind, I figured he was going to have a good game. I didn't think he'd do this good, was Justice Winslow. Whoa, man, did he have a good game tonight for Miami. $5,100. That's all this guy was. Coming back from that injury again, he's really starting to find his groove, man. And those minutes take a look right here. This is what you want to see. Now, granted, this guy just came Miami. Remember how depleted Miami was for a while? I mean, shit, they were starting, 8, 9 guys a night. I think 9 is the minimum, right? But it was horrible. I mean, they had nobody in there. Were calling guys up from D-League and everything. Look at these minutes. December 14th, 21. Coming back from injury. 26, 20, December 16, 29, December 18th, 32, December 20th, 46. I know he played 42 minutes tonight. And that game didn't go to overtime. This guy is just, he's a horse, man. He can take it, and he plays a shit ton of minutes, and I might have found. Hopefully he doesn't get too much of a bump. He's gonna, because this is 10x value. At 5,100, he's putting up almost 52 fantasy. Oh, I got a calculator right here. 10x. Well, that's almost 10x, right? 5.1 times 10. 51. So that he's actually more. He more than 10x tonight. That's insane. So you're probably going to see the price on him go through the roof. God damn it, I wish it would stay the same, because I love players like that just, when you see that trend of minutes go up and up and up every single game, that is what you want coming back from injury, because then he's getting back in the groove. He's starting to, remember, it's professional athletes. I mean, when these guys are out for a couple games, their body starts to adjust. You see guys week 1 of the NBA season, week 1 of the NFL even. guys being out of shape, you know, and coming back from injury, you turn into jello, and these guys need to come back in ease. So we'll see what's going to happen with Rodney Hollis Jefferson too. And again, not my favorite players in the world, but when we're talking on a 5-game slate, you don't have much to work with. So you want to feel confident. And this is a moment where I felt confident in not playing Durant because I like Kawhi. He's starting to play good. Aldridge just isn't really. I don't know what's going on with Aldridge, man. He's just having one of those off years. I don't know. Maybe he's just not fitting in or something. He has flashes where he looks like the LaMarcus Aldridge of old, but this is Kawhi Leonard's team. I mean, let's not bullshit around. So this is the guy going forward. This is the present, the now, and the future of San Antonio. So let's see where these guys price go. I think we're going to see the trend continue with Golden State, where I think their prices will remain sustainable in the fact that people just don't want to roster these guys because they don't know which one is going to just go off. They're all so good. This team is they're on a whole different level. With the addition of Kevin Durant, I don't know who can stop them. We saw them play the Clippers a couple when was that game? They just played the Clippers recently, the 7th of December. And they torched them. So Steph had a great game, shot 7 threes. They beat them 115-98. And from what I remember, the starters played maybe 3-4 minutes of the fourth quarter. So it was kind of it was scrub time for the Clippers. So they kill them. Right now, I don't know who's going to compete with them in the West, but it's fun. It's good times going forward. So we'll keep these 50-50s going, man. They're a lot of fun. So, but good luck this weekend in NFL. Hope you guys all do really well. Take care. Merry Christmas.